Welcome back to the next video on the channel. As you can see, it's been a long time actually. I recorded the first video a couple weeks ago. I couldn't decide what I was going to do, and then seeing the tariffs that might be showing up and the price of the 5090, I think I'm going to just do a 9950X and a 4090. I know, still a 90 series, but I think it's going to end up being substantially cheaper than the other way around. So I started ordering some stuff, starting with what we got here today and what we're going to install. These two bad boys. These are the Black Ice Nemesis 420 GTS. So I'm trying to avoid black as much as possible. Trying to keep with the white theme here. So I made sure to get radiators that are going to be white. I know the fans are going to be on top of them, but you can still see it. So going with these to start and see how that looks. I'm going to get these couple things installed. Then we're going to, I think we're going to install the like 15 fans that I have to put in here. And figure out how I want to do that. I'm kind of leaning towards, so I have the LCD ones, and they are reversed, which actually is going to be helpful. Originally I was going to put them back here on this like side of the front here, the motherboard here, but I'm kind of thinking, since I keep my computers below my desk, and not on my desk, and my desk does not have space for a computer on my desk, that I might just put the reverse fans on the bottom. That'll pull air up. We'll have air pulling in, so we'll have two things pulling in, out, and then out up here as well. And so I also have the just regular TL fans from Lee & Lee that I'm going to put in there as well. And I think that's going to just be the way to do it. Luckily, these are all daisy chainable fans, so thank God on the wiring end of things. Okay, so on the other hand, I did get a couple other things that I've got here already. I ordered a motherboard. I didn't ball out on the motherboard, to be honest. For the most part, it doesn't really matter to me. And I just wanted to get one that was white. So, got an X870 board, just an Asus Prime. Or not, did I go with an Asus? No, I didn't. Ended up going with the Gigabyte Prime White Ice or something or another. I'll put it on the screen. I can't remember what it's called. Also got a Seasonic power supply. Got the Big Daddy. This is a 1600 watt power supply, but with where graphics cards and what a 9950X can do, and because I'm going to be water cooling, kind of leaning towards overclocking a little bit at least, you know? So obviously this is super overkill, but eventually this PC would probably become my streaming PC, and all of a sudden I'm throwing in a bunch of add-on cards and memory and blah, blah, blah. It's just going to become a disaster. Then I ended up going with, for the piping, is just, we'll figure out if I need to order more tubes here, but it is just the Corsair satin transparent, I think is what they call it, but it's basically just frosted tubes. 3 of these are only like 20 bucks, which is, for some reason I thought rigid tubing was going to be more expensive, and maybe it will be once I find out how terrible my bending skills are. But for now, that's what I went with there. I ended up ordering a Singularity Computers reservoir for the front here that I believe just replaces this front glass. So that's going to look super nice up front there. Their pump was out of stock, and as somebody who's never built a water-cooled computer before, I was like, shit, what do I get? So I actually reached out to them, and oddly enough, in the email they mentioned that EK is like kind of shaky right now, so they wouldn't necessarily buy from them. And then they actually recommended this pump from Titan Rig. I can't remember what the model is, but it's a D5, what you would expect pump. So I'm excited to give this thing a try. It's a Lawara. I don't know how you say it. The only thing that's really been upsetting is that the wires are all individually sleeved disasters, which kind of sucked. But I happened to be going through stuff on Black Friday, and so I saw this, and I was like, I mean, it was a $100 pump. They come in black sleeving otherwise, but the pump's going to sit right here on the reservoir. I did get I think I ordered the silver cover for it, because the only white one I could find was an EK one, and to be honest, I was just trying to avoid them at all costs so far. But Titan Rig happens to sell sleeving that hopefully I'll be able to kind of cut along the width, and then just slide over, like, you know, these two cables in one and these two cables in the other sleeve. So I'll have white sleeves coming off of a silver pump, so we'll be avoiding some of the black to it. So that was nice. This was $5 for like 25 feet of it. I'm sure I'll find a use for it in the future as well. I thought about like a dark green and a purple or something like that, but I just really couldn't settle on it. But what I think I've not seen very often at all is kind of a coral theme. So I ordered 2 of the PC Opaque Primo Chill, I can't remember what they call this stuff. They're stupid blood orange, I think is what this is. Actually a really nice looking orange, and then I went with blue fittings. So I'm going to do blue accents for everything that's not white, and we'll have orange fluid going through there, so we'll kind of have a color vibe, coral vibe, and then I'll be able to set the fans to like blue and orange, and I think it'll actually be a pretty sweet look when it's done. I got 64 total ounces. I don't really know how much you really need, but I figure if there's a reservoir in front here and then all the tubing and the blocks and stuff, that you probably need a little more than one of these. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. If I got an extra one, I got an extra one. I don't know if this stuff really goes bad, but we'll find out. If you guys do want to see what the Primo Chill View looks like, let me know, and maybe I'll order some and go through the process of flushing my system and everything. Or if we figure out I'm going to try it fast enough, maybe I'll just do it first. And you're supposed to run, I think, some of their this Primo Chill loop prep before you put the View in there if you've never ran any fluid through your system before, and then you're supposed to do this with distilled water for like 72 hours first or something, and then put the VU in there. The only reason I didn't end up going with the VU or View or whatever you call it is that it says it only lasts like 6 months, and you're kind of, from what I can tell, supposed to kind of leave your PC running so it doesn't like settle. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but from what I was able to discern reading through online, but everything online's like 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old. I mean, there's some newer stuff with people asking around, but not a ton of solid stuff with that. But I think that would actually look pretty sweet instead of this, to have the fluid that looks like it's moving with these blue fittings and an orange blue build. I kind of thought about maybe even doing some like, for a little bit I considered like a forest PC, and it would be like browns and greens and forestry colors, and then I would just have like some vines hanging down and stuff in here. So if you can think of anything that'd be cool to do with orange and blue kind of look, let me know. I mean, I also don't really know how many like fittings to get. I did decide up front, which could be good or bad, that I'm going to bend all of the bends that are possible, and so I didn't get any 90 fittings or anything like that. I just have straight ins and straight outs. So what I'm going to hopefully do here in the next week or two is find some 3D prints I can do, and then I'll 3D print some like 90 benders and stuff like that. I have already ordered the like inner rubber thing to help bend tubes with, but if I can get something that I can like slot it in while I'm heating it to kind of get nice bends, that'd be sweet. I think it's a pretty nice blue overall. I did get a ball valve and stuff too. I'm not sure where or if I'll be able to use a ball valve really well, as you can see here, but if I can put a drain in it and just have a drain ready to go where I just need to shove a tube in one end, that'll be sweet. I guess the other thing I did get with that is just I got a couple male-to-male adapters here in the sky blue color as well. And then actually another thing, if you guys know of anyone else, I was gonna get cable mod cables for doing, blue and orange with, and actually the one thing I didn't even think about until I went to do it is they don't have like the option to get white connectors on the end of your cables. They're only black, which, look, not the end of the world, but it's like $50 a cable and I can't choose I don't know. I'm gonna do it either way, but if you know another brand where you can choose that's like actually trustworthy, I would consider that. So let me know down in the comments if you do. But let's get these installed. I showed you guys pretty much everything that's arrived so far. In the next week I'll be getting some more stuff. I couldn't find the 9950X anywhere that wasn't like $100 to $200 over retail price. So luckily Newegg had a back order that the predicted date was like December 12th or something, and as a recording it's the 3rd. So it'll be a minute, but it's probably going to be a minute on graphics cards too, because between looking for water blocks that are not EK and ones that are in stock and the graphics card is in stock, It is damn hard to find stuff right now, you know, a month before the launch of 50 series. Hopefully I can find something. I'd be fine spending the rumored like 1900, 1999 on a graphics card and then a 300 water block, but the performance is like, I don't play like Starfield and stuff, so I don't need like that crazy extra performance. And for video editing, we're talking mostly CPUs. I don't know. It just didn't seem reasonable to bother looking through it much more than that. But let's get these Nemesis 420 GTSs open and see what they actually look like. Okay, I will say this actually, before I continue, because this just reminded me of this, that these have copper fins on them, and then they just list everything else as conflict-free materials. From what I was able to find online, mixing metals, and from what I've known from watching like Jay's 2 cents, mixing metals is not like a fantastic idea. Probably not the end of the world if you get a nicer coolant like the Primo Chill stuff or whatever that's got those anti corrosion or whatever the heck it's called, inhibitors and stuff like that. It's probably not the end of the world, but it'd just be nice if you just like, I don't know, instead of conflict-free materials, just list what they are. Because if it's like nickel, I think nickel's like the one you don't want to mix with other stuff if you can avoid it. So just tell me what the heck is in it. It doesn't seem that hard to do. So, okay, these look pretty nice. I got some relatively thinner ones in terms of these things, but so we're gonna go one down there. So glad I went out of my way to get the white. Sweet. Comes with the screws here. I'll put the totals for these things on the screen or down below, but I'm trying to do things like stick with the theme, but if I don't have to blow the extra money, I don't have to blow the extra money. When I'm thinking, and this will probably get played with a little bit, I'm going to put stuff in here for now, just so it's like out of the way and blah, 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 blah. But I'm kind of thinking is I'll have a radiator down here. This radiator will come off the distribution plate straight into the radiator, over and across. I want to do like a swirly thing. That'll go up into the GPU, that'll go to CPU, that'll go here. And so I'll have this one on the opposite side here like this. And then I'll probably have some runs that come across there. I'm just not sure how to fill this space. I feel like the fans here will look nice, but I just feel like I should try and find a way to like fill the space a little bit better. Originally, I had looked at EK's, I can't believe I'm going to say this, I'd looked at EK's white radiators because you could get it with fittings on many of the sides instead of just one side. And that actually interested me a lot more because I'd be able to kind of put it up there and then go from there, and I don't have to pick and then be stuck with that. Or you could have, maybe I understood it wrong, but you could have one going in one side, coming out the other, which would have been cool for up here, but I don't know, man, there's just not much you can really do about that. This one basically has to go this way, and I guess technically I could put this one this way as well, which actually maybe I'll do. It'll leave just a couple short runs to do back to the distro plate, but I'll be able to kind of like come off the CPU and do something fun through here. There'll be a kind of dead space here. So if you have any ideas to go with this orange and blue build that I could maybe like hang or put whatever right there, let me know, because I would do that. If it looks good, I would definitely go out of my way to hang something up there and whatever. But another complaint in the video. Why the hell do the 140s not come in a 3-pack with the stupid controller for the fans? Why is there not? I bought a bunch of 140s and they only sell individually, which means you do not get the controller, which means you have to buy that separate, which would be fine, but these are actually rather hard to find in stock. The actual fans, not hard to find in stock. I get it. Not many people buy 140s. But why? Why does it have to be hard to find these damn things in stock? I also will say, nice little touch from Lee & Lee, the corners are rubberized even after you take the little feet off, like there's rubber around it, which is kind of just a nice little, holy crap, I have a ton of these little extra guys. It's a nice little touch because it gets rid of some of the vibration. I noticed in the case, They actually include with all the screws and stuff, which come in a nice little tackle box container for you fishermen out there. They add some rubber feet in here in case your fans don't include that. So that's also a nice little touch to have in your accessory box, because if they don't have rubber feet, or you're trying to reuse an old fan that doesn't have rubber feet, you can mitigate a lot of noise just by having just a little rubber between your metal. You know, I should be doing that. But there's that. That looks pretty sweet. From the top, we're going to be looking at it like so. Oh, reflection. I see me and me. Wink, wink. Don't take that out of context. This is definitely how this sits in there. This, however, because of these rounded edges, are sitting just a little high. So actually, this might be a case where these little rubber washers are about to come extremely in handy. It's just a tiny bit extra clearance. That little height there might actually be the difference on the gap that I'm having in the... I think what I'm going to do... I don't know if I can even show you guys here, but I got just this little... It wants to rock just a tiny bit. And I think what's causing that is it's just sitting literally because these edges are rolled. If they were just like sharp instead of sticking out, they'd probably be fine. But in order to have the holes line up, it's got to rest a little bit on the edge. So what I'm going to hopefully do here is just skip one on each side in the middle here. But I'm going to stick these little washers in. These little things give you just like, that tiny little bump might just be what I need to raise it up just enough. And then hopefully I won't get any like weird shift or tilt going as I go through here. That's squished on there. That's not going nowhere, man. Perfect. So that'll be fine. This is going to sit down there just like so. I'm going to run it so the fan wire comes off the backside here, because the case has grommets right here just to run a straight cord over. So I'll make that easy. We'll have these little runs coming here. And yeah, so I'm just going to put that in there like that. We'll get the LCD fans put on here. We'll wire up those other few fans into the case as well. Okay, so I got that kind of pulled over. This connector is fine. It really wants to pull out when I tug on the cable hard. And it's slid all the way forward, like in place. So I don't really know what I can do about that. But that's what these two look in here. What we're going to do is one more fan up here. A little 120, because that's all this little guy can hold. That'll be another exhaust. And then we'll have 3 more fans here that are the reverse ones pulling in. I just got to slide this little piece out, which if I remember right, comes out pretty easy. And then the nice part is that'll kind of help hide all the wires that got to come through the grommets right here. But dude, this white build is going to look sick. Especially once we get this Singularity computer's block right here. There'll be a pump right here-ish sticking out in silver. We'll run these little tubes, just little like bop outs to down, back up, swirl around from here, up into the graphics card, over to the CPU, and then the CPU will go floop, floop, up and in, up and out. And then, I don't know, I feel like right here might need something. So again, if you have any ideas on like a cool way to incorporate another blue or orange object into there, let me know, because I think that could look sick if done right. Or maybe like there'll just be enough kind of color and flow going on here to be cool. But I'm thinking like these are the LCD ones, so I'm thinking like CPU, GPU temps, and then I don't know what the third should be. Pump speed? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so following some quick Googling with this fan controller here, there is actually some tips to follow here. So each port here each port here supports a maximum of 10 of the TL fans or 3 of the TL LCDs. So the LCD ones will have to be on their own port. That being said, the LCD fans need to be on port 2, 3, or 4. So port 1 cannot be used for the LCD ones for whatever reason. That's interesting. That being said, not a big deal, obviously, in my situation. I just got to make sure this doesn't go into 1, so I'm just going to put it into 3 because I don't have to worry about accidentally plugging that into the wrong one. Alright, so we got that cable routed up here. It just comes across straight into this grommet. Look how much space there is up here though. I mean, you could have a party. Oh, that's going to pull air nicely. So that's with all the fans in. Again, distro plate, white motherboard, curly spiral thing up to that. That's probably gonna be really hard, but the first time it's gotta look cool, right? And then another spiral thingy, fadoom. Hopefully the D5 can overcome that. Hopefully. So it's kind of this lighter blue. There you can see it on the white background at least. And then this kind of lighter orange as well. So this is gonna actually look really cool. Again, let me know if I should test the VU or View or whatever Primo Chill type that is, and just see how that looks in the system too. If you guys are curious about seeing how long that works long term and stuff like that, I'm down to try it for if other people are interested, but I just didn't want to have to do it every 6 months. A full drain of the system like this and stuff like that just seems like an absolute pain if you do it often. I know like this stuff is probably only going to get me a year and a half if you really want to push it. You just kind of have to pay attention, but that's a lot better than every 6 months. Especially because with the View, every 6 months you'd have to drain that, rinse the system, put the cleaning stuff in there, and then the pre whatever the heck they call it, and run that for 72 hours of the computer running, and then you could put the View fluid back in there. Now, if it lasted a year, I could consider doing that if it lasted a year. The other thing is, too, is I routinely shut my computers down when I'm not using them. And so if the fluid has to stay in motion, that's a problem in itself. But if you guys want to see it, since I couldn't find any like more recent videos of it to see if it's really improved at all or if it's the same or whatever, I'm more than interested in doing that. Just let me know. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next build vlog of whatever this ends up being, of the update on what we're doing and stuff like that. Just let me know in the comments. Thanks.